Okay, so we are back from the 70.3 European Championships in Elsinore, Denmark, and I'm going to talk you through how the prep went, how the race went, and how I'm feeling post-race. Good morning, it's Wednesday and it's about 10 to 6 and I'm just waiting for my lift to the airport to head over to Denmark. So everything's packed. I'm just having my porridge and coffee before heading over to Heathrow. So really short flight to Denmark, I think it's just over an hour, so that shouldn't be too bad. And then we'll get into Copenhagen and drive across to Elsinore, to the hotel we're staying at, and then build up the bike, unpack, and then all that's on the plan for training today is just a steady swim. Maybe I'll add in some little bits of speed just to keep the body sharp. But yeah, feeling good to go and ready to travel. So I flew out to Denmark on the Wednesday before the race. We flew from Heathrow Airport. Super strict to actually get through the airport in London. They are doing all the checks to make sure that you're not flying into a country and then being sent home. So there was a point where we were getting a little bit nervous that we wasn't going to be allowed to fly, but luckily they let us go. Okay, so I've arrived safely in Denmark. Wanted to go and do a swim just to loosen off from the flight, so we drove to the local pool, and unfortunately someone had decided to poo in the pool, which meant we couldn't swim, but we should be able to swim tomorrow. So I've just finished an easy 45-minute spin on the bike, just loosening off the flight, and yeah, gonna have an early night and then get on some course familiarisation tomorrow. We were staying in a lovely spa hotel, so super nice, really relaxing, perfect for that final kind of prep into a race where the nerves are building and you're getting excited to race, so that was really nice. I had a good taper week into the race, so I was able to swim at the local pool in Elsinore. They were super accommodating. They even put a lane in for me at one point, which was really nice of them, so I could do 2 really good quality sessions in the pool there, have a walk around the swim course in Elsinore. I never actually got to swim it pre-race, but actually have a look at the course in the harbour. I got to ride the entire course. I split that over 2 days, so I did 60k on one of the days, seeing most of the course, and then the day before the race I actually did nearly 30k ride to see the other part of the course, and did some really good short runs leading into the race as well, with some kind of race pace effort. So everything's sharpening up, feeling good for the race, and just a really stunning location, so a really, really nice place. I've never been to Denmark before, but I would definitely recommend going, and I would love to go back. Okay, so just rounded out my Thursday with a 7k run with 2k worth of work at race pace, so nothing too crazy. We're 3 days out from the race now, so pretty much ready to go. Had a 3k swim this morning with some hard efforts in, and recce'd most of the bike course in the middle of the day. So busy day, but got everything ticked off that I wanted and starting to feel ready for race day.
I'm in sync with the earth, 10 toes deep, flower child from the turf. I never switch sides, like even when I die, I'ma ride for the squad, light up tires in the hearse. I've been on a vibe, kinda hard to describe. I'm in between, I'm good and it's fine, but I'm tired of the grind. Then I come alive in the night to realize I'm in the middle of the time of my life. I'm never so packed for the stack, never lied on the rap. Got a bag from the way that I write it. Queen looking Tyson, through that I survived, doing 80 to the house. Then I hit it to the sky, changed haters on a tirade. Talking to their grip in the face. his life on his fast route. Yeah, turn thoughts to a cash cow. I might flip that to the glass house. I don't need the accolades, I'm in love with the chase. I just wanna eat.
So it's a really hard balance to keep up your race freshness and recover when you're trying to race back to back over a short period of time. So I had this first blister after Leeds from doing the 10K, obviously without any socks, but this wasn't a problem. This dried up really nicely. And then I raced at Eton, was fine because I wore socks. And then annoyingly on my run on Saturday, which was a really good run, I was like, oh, it feels like that blister's getting a bit sore. And then when I finished the run and took my sock off, it was like, whoa. And a blister had formed under the previous blister, which was a really bad blood blister. And I did pop it, even though Reece told me do not pop it. I popped it, which made it quite sore, but I wanted to dry it up as soon as possible. So now we're here, Monday of race week, and it is drying up a bit, but I'm gonna put a Compeed on it for this run and hope that that helps. But yeah, that's the blister saga so far. But this one looks like it's gonna be a bit of a battle to fix. Oh, that's so grim. Yeah. So the race in Elsinore was pretty much my third race in the space of about 4 weeks. So I'd raced in Leeds, the following weekend I raced in Eton Dorney, then I had one weekend where I didn't race, and then I had Elsinore. So it's such a difficult balance to keep yourself in that race form and also recover from the race to go back to training. So after Leeds, I pretty much did have to go straight back to training for Eton. I even had lab tests in that week, so it was really difficult to keep on top of that. And then the week after Eton was probably the hardest because I just carried that fatigue through from 2 races, knew I needed to put in that solid final bit of work before Elsinore. Obviously, I'd had a solid block in Lanzarote that was 6 weeks of work, and that kind of carried me through the racing block. And now I'm post Elsinore and know that I probably can't keep this rolling. I've got to go back into another training block now. So there's a window of time that you can gain some fitness from a race, carry that through, recover, gain some fitness from another race, carry that through, recover for the next one, but you can't keep doing it. So it is a really difficult balance. Friday afternoon, we're 2 days out from the race, and today I've done a little swim this morning, a little spin on the bike, and I'm going to do a little run to finish off the day. But I've just come from the expo where I've done a little interview of Ironman and obviously got my race pack and all of my bits, so I'm going to start organising my gear into the different bags, stickers onto my bike, onto my helmet. And this is a new style of timing chip, I think. It might not be a timing chip, I might be wrong, but look at that. That's new. Never seen one like that.
Coming into Denmark for the very first time to race here. How do you like Denmark? How do you like the venue so far?
Yeah, it's so nice. The weather's been really kind to us. I checked out the swim course, had a little walk around yesterday. It definitely looks like it's going to be quite difficult to go the right way, so that's my main focus there. And this bike course looks really, really nice. I cycled most of it yesterday. It's going to be super fast. But it's really nice in the countryside. I like it. When I first came into triathlon, I was following that Olympic dream the same as when I was a swimmer, so that was the route I wanted to go down, but I was told that I wouldn't be good enough at the short distance, so I kind of just jumped straight into Ironman and had a lot of success. But the Olympic dream is still at the back of my mind, so I decided, you know what, why not? I'm going to go and try one of these draft legal races and see how I get on. And obviously my swim background helps a lot, but I wanted to prove that I can still bike and run with these girls as well. So I'm just about to attempt to make some lunch by boiling some rice in a kettle. I've never done this before, but I've seen people do it. So hopefully if it turns out well, I'll let you know. So, rice making from a kettle. Nailed it. So the course itself, absolutely loved it. As 70.3s go, the way the course was designed made it really interesting. You never were able to switch off, so it actually made the race go really, really fast. So I guess starting with the swim on paper looked like it was going to be the most confusing swim I'd ever done in my life. I knew I would be leading the swim, so I absolutely knew I needed to know where I was going and what the route was. So swim was a really, really nice course. The water was about 18.5 degrees, so definitely a wetsuit swim, salt water in the sea in this harbour. Really, really enjoyed it actually. It's probably one of my favourite swims I've ever done, despite it being like a little maze to navigate, but I think that made it quite fun. Transition 1 was actually really long. It was a really long run out of the water all the way to our bikes, so that always gets the heart rate up out the water. The bike course was really interesting as well. There was quite a lot of different loops going on, some technical parts, but amazing road surface, rolling hills, which is my absolute favourite because you've got to lay down the power in the right way. It's not just about having the biggest numbers, it's about where you lay down the power, watching your speed, trying to make sure your average speed is staying high, because ultimately it doesn't matter if you're pushing the biggest watts if you're not moving that quickly. So being aero at the right time, getting out the saddle at the right time, it just kept your brain engaged for 90k. And then the run, definitely my favourite part of the day, but again, the way the run was broken down just made a half marathon go so fast. We had different parts on the course, so there was probably nearly a kilometre that was actually on like gravel trail as we went round the castle. Then you had some smooth concrete, then you had cobbles, a wooden bridge. We went through the town in Elsinore where we were just turning, it was like a maze, like we were just going everywhere in the town, and then the crowds were obviously brilliant as well. And they'd kind of done it so it's 3.5 laps. So it just made that half marathon go so fast. So I loved it. Definitely would love to go back at some point and would 100% recommend the race to anyone who wants to go and do a 70.3 at some stage. Okay, so today I've got my race day nails done. Very, very nice, by Belle, which we can put her Instagram in the description of this video. So Belle is actually the fiance of Joe Clark, who we did the video with a little while ago where Reese and I raced him in his kayak. So if you haven't seen that video, make sure to check it out. But also, if you live kind of near the area where I live and Belle lives, then definitely check her out, because she doesn't just do nails, she does loads of other beauty stuff, but she smashed these race nails out the park for me, which matched my race suit really nicely. So when I'm suffering on the bike, I can just look down at my nice nails and know at least something looks good when I'm suffering. So yeah, thank you very much for her for doing those. So someone asked me on Instagram, was this a perfect race? And I think in terms of all-round performance across swim, bike and run, this was a near perfect day. In how my body felt, it felt strong all day. That doesn't often happen. So felt strong on the swim, I navigated it correctly, I knew where I was going. So swim, I would give a tick. I don't think I could have done a lot more. I didn't go wrong on the course. I think I paced it well enough, so near perfect. I would say like 99% perfect. Transition 1, I literally tried to just run as fast as I could to get through to transition, but I think that in doing that, I was like in a semi-flustered state, which I wouldn't recommend. It's always like, take your time a little bit, but when you're in these kind of races at the top of the top in the sport, you don't want to waste any time. And I didn't quite get my wetsuit properly into my transition bag, so I was told by the ref that I needed to put it in properly, which would have slowed me down, I don't know, 5 seconds. So that slightly being flustered probably made that like a 75-80% perfect T1. Could have been a little bit better. Mount was a little bit flustered as well, just because I was trying to do it as quickly as I could. Bike, again, felt really strong. Numbers were good, focused on being aero, focused on laying down the power in the right way. Felt like I was getting my nutrition on board how I wanted. Normally I would actually have taken on a little bit more fluid, but the conditions, it wasn't hot, so maybe I could have drunk a little bit more. I just felt really strong and was able to maintain that effort across 90k, so close to perfect on the bike, I'd say. It's probably one of the best I've felt on the bike. T2, really good. I did sit down to put my shoes and socks on, so I apologise to the short course ITU girls. Probably wasted like 10 seconds putting my shoes on, sat on the floor. But other than that, super smooth, got out, started the run, kind of tried to do stuff as I was actually running out of transition. And then the run, well, it's the best run I've done off of the bike, a 1:18.05 on actually slightly long. It was 21.3 kilometre run. So in terms of how my body felt as well, really good, fueled correctly, used the aid stations on course, had my own nutrition as well. Didn't fade on the run, if anything, felt stronger. So again, could be like 99% perfect feeling on that run. So the whole day coming together, normally there's a part on the day where things either went wrong or you just didn't feel great, but I didn't have that at any point. So I would say this was up there with almost a near perfect race day for me. What is happening in here? Right, 3, 2, 1. Ooh, not too bad.
Oh, that's a little easy one there.
Not too bad. There's a nice crack. Bit of dirt, but nothing too bad. Yeah, it definitely felt good to be getting back to my kind of event. So I raced the middle and full distance Ironman triathlon. This was my first actual 70.3 distance since the 70.3 Worlds in Nice in 2019. So I've raced some other events, but they haven't been quite the middle distance. So like Eton Dorney was like in between the Olympic and the middle distance. So it felt really good to go back to where I feel like I do excel at. But I also think it worked really well that I did the Olympic distance in Leeds, an in-between distance at Eton, and then the middle distance in Elsinore. So I like built my way up to the distance. So I think that worked really well, but I just love triathlon. You could put me in any distance of event in triathlon and I will give it 100%. And I think that's just why I love racing. But for a middle distance, I wasn't sure if it was going to feel long, but it definitely still felt like a pretty short day. But I guess that's because I did everything pretty fast. That's the first time I've ever broken 4 hours on a middle distance, so didn't feel like a particularly long day. And I'm looking forward now to going into that Ironman training block to get ready for what definitely is a long day of racing. It feels very good to be European champion, like to get a title at any distance, whether that be like a European or world or African champion or whatever. It's always amazing to come away with the title of that race. So to get the European title, that was the ultimate goal of the race. I didn't know if it would be possible, so massive box tick, super happy with that. But then to come away with the swim course record, bike course record, run course record, overall record for the race. Kind of to the question earlier, was it a perfect race? Well, you would say 100% yes, because I managed to beat the previous time on all disciplines. So that kind of was way above my expectations of what I was going into this race and what I thought I was capable of. So massive confidence boost, definitely over the moon, and looking forward now to continue that momentum in my training to see what's possible over the full distance later this year.
Lucy, you've come second a number of times at the Ironman World Championships and also at the Ironman 70.3 World Championships. This is your first 70.3 title, I guess. How does that feel?
Yeah, it feels nice to win something and not be second, so yeah, really happy with that.
Oh, that's absolutely amazing, Lucy. A very, very strong performance. You swam way in front of the other girls. You biked really, really fantastic hard. You had an amazing run. So how did the race come together for you today?
Yeah, I just went hard from the gun. Obviously the swim is my strength, so I knew I had to get as much of a gap there as possible. And then on the bike, I was just riding hard, trying to push hard that whole way, trying to find out what any gaps were, and just obviously chase as hard for the men that were in front of me, trying to push on to get them. Biking as if there's not even a run going to happen, and then getting on the run and just trying to build each lap and actually feeling pretty strong at the end.
Oh, that's fantastic. Building each lap on top of each other after an all-out bike, that's amazing. And chasing the men, I love that. But Lucy, being such a strong swimmer, we really want to hear, what about the swim course here? It's, for me, I've been racing for a number of years, way back in the past. This is an amazing swim. How did that feel for you?
Yeah, it's probably actually one of the most fun swims I've done, because you cannot switch off. You have to concentrate to make sure you go the right way. And my main goal was to just go the right way. So I was really happy that I kind of navigated the maze and made it onto the bike without getting lost.
Right, Lucy, once again, a big congratulations on finishing here today. Everybody give it up for Lucy Charles-Barclay, European Champion 2021.
Yeah, so going into this race, I actually made some huge changes to my diet. About a week out from the race, I actually found out that I am intolerant to a lot of food. It was always going to be a slight risk, but I decided to just cut out all of those foods leading into this race. And I was slightly apprehensive doing it because I wasn't sure if I was going to feel low on energy or what impact that would have. And it's an ongoing process. I'm not saying I'm like going to do that full stop and I'm happy days. But that's probably the best performance I've put down over the middle distance so far in my career. So it would indicate that this is going to work for me, but it will be a process going forward, and we will dive into that in future videos and actually look more into what Reese and I do eat around our training. But I'm quite excited about how well that appears to have worked. In terms of training, I'm on a down week this week to recover. I've done a lot of back-to-back racing. I will not be racing this weekend in Holcombe. I've decided to let my body rest, let my mind have a refresh, and then I'll be diving straight into a big block of training to get myself ready for Kona at the beginning of October. It's not that far away now. Lots of training to be done, excited to get on with it and continue to keep this progress and this momentum going. Okay, so we're going to do another giveaway as part of this video, and all you have to do to enter is comment below what you think my average heart rate on the bike was. If you get close to what it was, then we are going to raffle 2 winners to win the prizes that I'll show you in a second. Okay, so the first prize is going to be my finisher t-shirt, which I will sign, and My finisher medal, this is not the one that I've had on my Instagram with the splits on the back. This was the one I was given when I actually finished the race. And I'm going to sign the back of this medal as well. The second prize is going to be my transition number, which I will sign, and then also the 70.3 Elsinore race bag, which I'll sign as well, why not? So yeah, 2 prizes up for grabs, and just make sure you comment below to enter that. So a huge thank you to Ironman Denmark for putting on such an amazing race, making it COVID safe, and just putting on a spectacular race for all of us. A huge thank you to all of my fans in Denmark who were absolutely brilliant out on the course, made a massive difference to how I felt on the run. I just felt brilliant with all of you guys cheering me. And thank you as always for watching this video. That has been kind of my little report on how the race went in Elsinore. So I hope you enjoyed it, and as always, make sure to like and subscribe. Please, Daddy! Please! Oh my God! Oh! Have we lost it?
It's on camera.